thank you very much for your presentation. I'm sorry, something happened here. 1 second in the image. On my computer, this is part of the direct.
We can still hear you and see you if...
Yeah, it's okay. But I couldn't to do so for you, so sorry. Well, thank you very much, everybody, and well, merci beaucoup. Thank you for inviting FAO to do this presentation within the scope of the marine spatial planning process at the WestMED countries. We would like to talk on the approach that the FAO has on blue growth, and specifically how its implementation, the approach of the blue growth on ports, that would be a source and also a very, very relevant tool in order to promote sustainability and sustainable growth. Next, please. So, Blue Growth led by FAO, Blue Growth Initiative led by FAO since 2015, it reckons a strategic and innovative approach to improve the use of aquatic resources, while at the same time it may increase social, economic and environmental benefits for communities, all those dependent on fisheries and aquaculture. Social, economic and environmental, those are, as we all know, the three dimensions of sustainability. And that is one of the main issues from blue growth and blue economy approach that we should bear in mind and take into account from a perspective of equity and integration, the three issues when we are planning the development of strategic development of specific territories, as well as ports, as well we are talking about today. So when we are talking on blue economy approach specifically, that is when we are making special emphasis on employment and livelihoods, but also food security, nutrition, sound fisheries management practices, and support to healthy ecosystems. Coastal community are therefore the heart of these policies and activities, and especially those coastal communities that live near or are somehow influenced by ports. Ports for FAO, and not only for FAO, but for all the ports and all of us that are here, I think that we all agree that they are knowledge hubs. They are more than a specific place where different activities occur. They are also knowledge hubs. They are places where we all share different approaches from different activities, economic activities, but also these make a specific and direct effect and impact on social and environmental dimensions. So we think that, and I think we share that with you all, that if we work on maximizing this impact, we will be able that ports are a relevant key, a relevant driver for development within all its scope. Next, please. We define that a port may be blue. That means that it includes the approach, or it follows the approach of economic growth or blue economy. To be a blue port, that means to be a hub for regional, national, and local sustainable development. And that also means specific value creation and on the three dimensions of sustainability: social, economic, and environmental. And to give some examples, and again, I think that we all agree, some examples of how these three dimensions should coexist in a parallel manner. We've done already an exercise with different ports at international level of identifying which are those issues that applies to these three dimensions. So we are talking about social within ports, we are talking about employment, we are talking about decent labor, gender equality, food security, and also, no less important, blue skills and also training. But when we are talking about economics, we are talking about innovation, trade, competitiveness, and surely about level playing field, which is so relevant for all the activities to occur. Ports also, and not only port itself through its operation, but the activities that occur within a port have also a very direct impact, as some of you have, my colleagues that precede me have already mentioned, like, for example, on the EU fishing, marine resources management, pollution prevention, carbon print reduction, climate change, ecosystem services. Please, next. But this doesn't occur at the same level in all the ports. It depends also on what the focus and the main approach of the port is, the main activity is, if it is with the fisheries sector, if it is fisheries plus other merchandises, cargo and so, or maybe if fish is not there. But so also it depends on the level of development of the region that the port is placed. And also it depends on the management itself of the port and how the approach of the strategic plan is. So best practices from different ports are really of very, very good value. There are ports that we can identify, and we've heard some today, good and special best practices related to environment, others related to social, others related to economic issues. Yeah, so we should compile all of them and try to share them. Ports are also interlinked. We cannot think of a port that works itself. No, nor port works in an isolated way. That is impossible, you know, because they are connected. Ports are the real places that connect different regions and different territories and geographical areas. So ports surely are interconnected and they are interlinked as well. So they are all facing most and main common challenges, especially if we are talking on the WestMED, we are all sure on that. So we think that a blue economy, if we bear in mind that blue economy is about integrating the three issues of sustainability, social, economic, and environmental, will only be successful on promoting blue growth if we are able to do that within an approach of collaboration. Yeah. So when we are talking about blue growth, we are talking also about stakeholders. We all know that. We are talking about knowledge transfer. We are talking about added value within the products that we are working with. We are talking about traceability. We are talking about blue skills, climate change, and so on. Next, please. How can we implement blue growth? How can we implement blue economy approach? Well, there are several initiatives already at local. That could be from specific cities where ports happen, where there are relevant ports, but the approach is taken from the city, like as it is the case of Piraeus. There are some others like Port of Vigo in Spain, in Galicia, when the initiative was from the Port of Vigo, but it also involves the city where the port is placed. It can be at national level. We have some examples of different countries, mainly islands, that are having blue economy as the main approach for the national strategic planning. We also have regional, as for example, the initiative that the European Commission is also promoting, trying to include also blue growth as part of the general agenda of sustainability and growth of the European Union region, or for example, Central America, who is also taking into account a blue economy approach and working on the design of their own strategy. And of course, ports is a real part of that, and ports are considered also a driver of the whole strategy. And also an international, what's on international, yeah. From FAO, we are leading, and next please. We're promoting and we are working on a specific, on the creation of a Blueports network. That means trying to join, that means to interconnect, or not interconnect because they are already interconnected, but to reinforce the interconnection of the ports within a blue economy approach. So we think that if we promote a blue ports operation, we will be able to promote sustainable development. But for that, it is important that different ports and fishing ports implement a specific blue economy approach within their strategic and operational processes. But next, please, they cannot do that in an isolated manner. And it is important that we could connect all these ports, all the ports that are interested and believe and trust on this approach within a specific network. What does it mean? That means that we need to work, all of us together, on strategies that are based on diagnosis, but not only in diagnosis or trying to identify main challenges, but doing that from a holistic approach, doing that with a participatory approach. That means trying to identify all stakeholders that are part of the port, directly or indirectly part of the port. That means the quadruple helix, which is government, which is civil society, which is also academics and within training and research, and surely a private sector. This has to be a long-term approach. We know that all actors, all stakeholders should be committed and feel the process as proper, so they have to have a feeling of appropriation. There should be also a leadership. There should be also, and that's very relevant, public and private collaboration. Yeah, we are in the times of public-private partnerships. We understand, we all understand that the collaboration among these stakeholders is essential in order to promote economic development within the social and environmental approach. Surely transparency and communication, there's no other way to do so. So specific tools should be designed in order to ensure this part. Having governance system, efficiency and resources availability for this to occur, and no less important, it has to be a lively process. It has to be a process that is ongoing all the time and that all stakeholders can participate actively. Next, please. So what's been done? Well, we got a mandate from COFI in 2018 that says that we should analyze the interest of creating these Blueport networks. Within this COFI mandate, we organized 3 international workshops that occurred during 2019 and 2020 this year. Last one was last month of October, and more than 20 ports and more than 5 international organizations, like for example COUNESCO, participated on those processes. These workshops were done. The first one was just to talk about blue economy and to talk and to exchange different experiences among the ports that were participated on what I said before, environmental impact, what initiatives they are doing in order to promote and to improve a positive impact within the environment. And same with social, we benefited from very relevant experiences on a Blue Skills program, on training programs related and aimed to different roles and different technicians and expertise that is required within a port, but also from economic, like very interesting experiences and practices related to transparency within fishing sector and traceability and so. From that and on, all ports participants in 2019, they all agreed the interest of analyzing how to work all together in order to ensure that blue economy approach within the management of the ports and the operative planning. So we went on, we did another workshop last November, which was a participatory workshop last 2019, in order to analyze the perception of different stakeholders that has already been involved, and specifically at that moment was here at Port of Vigo, involved in the process, so they could say 4 years later if that could be was or not of benefit and which points should be reinforced. That was very interesting together with the first workshop, in order to be able to do very general concept notes from FAO that could share in a workshop that we celebrated last October, 26th and 27th. It was an online with the same ports that participated before and some other news that joined. That was to exchange the idea of creating this international network. All participants agreed, so we are now working on a project document that will be shared as soon as it is possible. And now we are under the identification of partnerships for the implementation of the Blueports network, identification of financial resources, but moreover than financial resources, also technical resources and institutional supports, and also working on on the design of an operative and working plan in order to be able to launch this network next 2021. But one important and relevant thing of this network is not only a place just to sit down and talk. It will be a network, if we finalize launch it, it will be a network where specific projects and initiatives should come out with we can have specific tangible results, and that after some period, some years, we can all say that ports are in fact drivers for the dynamization of the territories, that we can already measure the impact in terms of social, economic and environmental development within the territories they are working with, and also that we've created and reinforced the interconnection between the ports as one of the big drivers for sustainable development. Next, please. So where's marine spatial planning in all this? Well, there's no other way to do this. There's no way to do this without marine spatial planning. Ports are part of the territory. I will not go further because my colleagues before they were talking about this. But just to remark that blue growth and MSP are hand in hand. There's no other way to see it. They are not separated, and there's no way that blue growth occurs without a marine spatial planning process. So that's why it is relevant and included on all this strategy. Next, please. Well, so what does it mean to be a blue port? These are some pictures of one of the ports that we consider like that we are working with, which is Port of Vigo. Well, this is a blue port, it's a green port, and this is a port with traceability, transparency, with many activities coexist, tourism through cruises, marinas, sports, and so many other activities with a very, very relevant approach to also to the blue skills, with the social, the improvement of the professional qualifications, and the generation of interconnections and synergies between different economic sectors. Next, please. So this is all that we would like to share with you, just to encourage ports to take into account the importance and the relevance of including and looking at the blue economy approach in order to promote growth. But this cannot occur if we don't do it together, hand in hand, ports with ports at the national, local, national, regional, and surely international level, and for sure with all stakeholders together, without forgetting any tool, and then surely marine spatial planning. So thank you very much.